G'day all, Simon here, Explosive Action. Gonna go record shopping today. Gonna get the train, go to the city, go to a few other places, check out some of my usuals. Check out a place I've not been to since pre-pandemic to see how we go there. Let's get cracking. And on the train we go, off to the first record store. This one is well over an hour away from me. I haven't been there since, like I said, before the pandemic hit. They shut for quite some time and it was just a bit risky to going all the way out there, but happy to go back there today and check things out. But as you can see, the train is empty, which is always nice. And down into the depths of the station and out into the record shop. It's called Beatdisc Records. Straight to the metal section, of course. Take a look at the CDs there. Reasonable selection. We'll go through those in a minute. But I want to start with the records. So we head over. Take a look at some of the highlights that I go through here. Bit of old Burzum, bit of Blood Incantation, some Death reissues, and I was very happy to see this Dillinger Escape Plan Irony is a Dead Scene reissue. That was coming home with me for sure. Cruciform, classic Australian Death Doom. Crypt Worm EP, it's very good, very slimy stuff. Some Cauldron Black Ram, more Aussie. Some Coffins, Caustic Wound, and this Defiled, I've not heard this one, new album. Carcass EP, I really should get around to getting at some point. I haven't actually listened to it properly, but this Deteriorate, man, that's an absolute belter. But I've got the original CD, that'll do. Same with Epitaph and the Epitaph Excruciate split. I actually prefer that split to the album. Some Gorphilia here. I love the latest one, fantastic. Invincible Force, underrated Black Thrash. Some Imprecation. I don't know who that guy was. Wasn't Ghost, that's for sure. Mayhem, Out from the Dark. It's a live LP. I've heard they're all pretty bad quality. Krallis and Gayron, I don't know who they are. This Misery reissue is fantastic, as is the Morpheus. But I've got the CD and that'll do fine. Ossuary, Napalm Death. That Of Feather and Bone is awesome. And another Obsequii, I don't have that one. Should go back and get it at some point. Another great band from Dark Descent. And here we go with the Pissgrave demos. That poor guy. Void Ceremony, awesome art on that. Great death metal. Yes, and the Aggritator CD reissues were there, which were very cool. But this Traces of Death comp, Relapse thing. Lots of cool bands on there. Old Press. Was quite tempted to get it, but yeah, I didn't think I'd actually ever listen to it that much. As I would never listen to Leather Boys with Electric Toys. Look at the garbage on that. Woof. It could stay right there, thank you. I did see this one, which I've got, but Bloodstone, Hour of the Gate. That used to go for hundreds of dollars until it was reissued. Crypt of Kerberos demos, it's a very nice compilation there. And Hello, Covenant, Nexus Polaris. I know, it's pompous, but it's a bit of fun. That Confessor I've not heard. Seems to be a new one. These guys I'd never heard of either. Looks like a pretty cool reissue from Dark Symphonies though. Excruciate, demo reissues. Same with the Epitaph collection of demos. This is the worst part of Cataclysm. They started here and it all went downhill. Psychroptic, Isle of Disenchantment. For my money, it's the only one you need from that band. Samael, great double feature there. Rebellion EP is underrated. Bit of old Ulva. These are first pressings too. I've got them, but nice to see them here. I decided to go through the 7 inches and I found all of these weird Japanese pop idols. No idea what's going on there. And yes, I went through the punk just because there's certain people that like to see the punk that I have in the Sydney shops. So we will quickly go through the punk and hardcore and I will pretend to know what I'm looking at, but I don't. I do stop at anything that might look a little bit grindy, which isn't much. I hope you're all enjoying that. Strange hobby shop, which is something out of the past. We used to have one of these near me, but it shut down. Just very cool to see lots of die-cast models that you can put together. So many of them. I'm not sure where you can get this kind of stuff from with these shops all vanishing. I guess online. And what is all the hate for Bill posters? Why does he need to be prosecuted? I went to this place, Harvey's Hot Sandwiches. We're bringing back a big, tasty sandwich. And man, this thing nearly ripped me a new one. Spicy, spicy hot chicken. Couldn't finish it, but it was very, very good. Under Papa Disco, this is the place I like going to the most. Lots of really, really cool used records. And they've been starting to get in some new stuff. We've been through this pile before, but I'll quickly go for a bit of a flick. This stuff doesn't change as much as I would like. They are getting more and more new things in. I probably should get that Ripper album at some point. But here's a Sacrifix. And this Are You Dead compilation. Very cool. And this was the main joy for me. I was allowed to go through the last crates of unpriced, used records. Tried to have a bit of a thorough look through some strange things I've never even heard of. Some great stuff here, like this Exciter first album, Heavy Metal Maniac, but I've already got that. Merciful Fate reissue. Early reissue for Necromantia. Not an original press though. Holocaust, Heavy Metal Mania. Atlantean Codex. A big Esoteric double LP. And an Innsmouth EP. There was a lot more in these boxes. I just kept digging for a while. Witchfinder General. Collection of demos from 1983. Bit of a Sarcophago picture disc there, but my eye was really drawn to this Russian LP. I went and had a listen to it. It was fantastic. Some old Thin Lizzy. And a Melekesh. Very, very nice to see some later Melekesh in there. And this, I think, is the final Absu album. Absu. And this is pretty much peak Newtown for me.
The fuck?
People outside Australia think that our real problem is drop bears, but really, the Australians know it's magpies. Repressed Records. This place gets in lots of new stuff. It's definitely my go-to for local imports. And the first thing they had was the brand new one from Woad, so I thought I'd give that one a go. Some Fettered, the new Stargazer. I really should get around to listening to that as well. Wasn't sure who they were. There's a couple albums for that band. New Suffering Hour. Very nice to see that there. Skeletal Remains, Swamp Beast, Superstition, and the Vasigo, which isn't really quite my cup of tea, but it's not a bad album. Undergang, Sad-X, more Pissgrave. It's definitely the day for it. That Skeleton didn't do too much for me. Neither did the Noisem, but that Golgotha Remains is stellar. No idea who Palace of the King are, or whatever this thing is in ruins, but it looked kind of black metal. And then Knights of the New Thunder. I think that says TNT. I didn't bother listening to it. I think the photo said enough. Under the wall of cassettes, the only thing that I really saw was the Questmaster 12 Castles. I've already got it, but they had 3 copies. Checking out some of the films, I saw this Johnny Toe film, Exiled. Old Eastern Eye DVD, yes thank you, I'll take that. This shop also has books and comics. And these are really strange looking things, Carter Brown. And this again is Newtown, personified. Lots of old Penguin books here. But I really like seeing the vintage hardbacks. At the top here, this one really took my fancy, Norse myths. Had a bit of a look at it. It's all about the old Norse gods, which is something that my wife particularly likes. And now I'm sitting down finally with a well-earned beer, followed by some metal and some Dirty Bird. So let's take a look at what I picked up today, and yes, I am aware that I am now wearing my Duff Beer shirt. I got hot, I had a shower, I'm in my pyjamas. You'll live. In the background we're listening to one that I picked up recently. This is Crips with a Descending Era of Putrefaction, their compilation of demos, which is very, very cool. I already had the Open the Crips demo from when it came out, which was self-released, but I didn't have the 7-inch and the rehearsal, so a nice little package, this one. We'll get to the rest of the CDs in a sec, and actually the first thing we're going to look at is one that came in the mail today, but it's a similar theme to some of the other things I'm going to be showing. This is Warrant, and the Enforcer is the name of this one. There is no cherry pie inside. Thank God for that. This is the German Warrant, speed metal from 1985, and it absolutely slays. I won this at auction. I paid an acceptable sum for what this is. Original noise press, as I said. I mean, they're doing a bit of the kissy faces and things, but no, this is like defining speed metal stuff. Somebody says, "What does speed metal sound like?" This one pretty much defines it for me. And nothing too much to show in here. The seller is very cool that I buy these from. He's a good guy. He cleans and re-sleeves in disc keeper sleeves. So that's, yeah, he takes good care of his records, so I'm happy buying from this guy. Yeah, Warrant, the Enforcer. Very, very happy to get that one. And yes, I did pick up the Dillinger Escape Plan. This one, Irony is a Dead Scene. This is the 4-track EP they did in, like, I don't know, 2000, 2001 or something like that, with Mike Patton on vocals. The previous vocalist from Calculating Infinity had left. They didn't have a new vocalist yet. And they just chucked Mike Patton in it, and it's such a good combination. 4 tracks. 4th one is the Aphex Twin cover of Come to Daddy. I've always rated this as their best tracks. Like, it's their most mental. And adding Mike Patton when he's being all very bungled just makes it even more mental. It is very, very crazy stuff. And then after this point, they got the new vocalist, and they were okay, but you know, they sort of watered down their sound a bit. So this for me is peak Dillinger. Very happy to get this one on wax. Just a black vinyl in there, but you know, nice sleeve. And yeah, this came out on Epitaph recently. It's had a few reissues, so good to get that one. Let's find that one in the wild. And yes, I did pick up that new one from Woad. Burn in Many Mirrors is the new album. To find this in Australia so quick, I mean, this literally came out in the last couple of days, so yeah, that was pretty efficient shipping to get this one across. Yeah, I've mentioned before, I think on comments on other YouTubers, I absolutely love the first Woad. I was listening to that for a couple of years before there was any physical release. It was just a Bandcamp, that's all there was, and then they dropped various releases of it. LP I picked up. The follow-up album was good, but it didn't hit me as well. I listened to one track of this when they got picked up by 20 Bucks Bin, and you know, they'd gone a bit more death metal away from the black metal. But you know, I'm going to give it another go, because I do like the band, and you know, it was there. So we'll see how we go with the new one from Woad. 20 Bucks Bin, you know, they have so many good bands in their roster. I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy this one. I just needed to get past that sample that, you know, put me off a little bit. Maybe I was not in the right mood. Anyway, new one from Woad. I know a lot of people have been saying it's very good, so that's sort of why I've jumped in on it. Largely sight unseen or ears unheard, really. And I also picked up the new Suffering Hour. This is the Cyclic Reckoning. Been listening to this one on Bandcamp. This is their strongest work to date, for sure. Band have really found a sound on this one. I mean, they've been having, you know, that real deep, dissonant, thick death metal sound for a while, but on this one, it's even a little bit more like ethereal. I don't know how else to really explain it. They've just, I don't want to say they've experimented either. I just think they've become a little bit more unique with their sound yet again. They just refined it. and it's top stuff. It's going to appear on lots of people's end of year list for sure, this one. Possibly mine, we'll see how we go. Now that I've actually got the physical copy, give it a few more spins. The Cyclic Reckoning. So they're the new ones, and these are the ones I got from the second-hand shop. I picked up At War Retaliatory Strike. Don't know much about these guys. I listened to it quickly in the shop, and it was just belting thrash, absolutely smashing stuff from 1988. There's the guys. I've seen the cover of another one of their albums before, and it gave a very, in all this year, it gives you a very punk kind of feeling to it. It doesn't sound anywhere near as crossover as I was expecting, which is good for me. I don't usually like crossover stuff, or pizza thrash as I like to call it, but anyway, this on the sample I had in the shop was great. It was just aggressive and raw. You could tell there was a bit of hardcore, a bit of punk in there, but really it was 90% just angry thrash. And yeah, very, very cool. And I got it for a good price. At War Retaliatory Strike. Obviously it's just black LP. Nothing too exciting in there, but it did have a cool sort of lyric sheet, which is in pretty much perfect conditions. It's on New Renaissance Records, NR 41. So yeah, I guess this one came out in 88. So yeah, that's At War Retaliatory Strike. Very cool. And this one, I don't know how to. I got no idea. I put this one on, and this sounded loads of fun in the shop. This is a Russian band. I got nothing. I don't know what to say. APU. I don't know, because it's not. When you look on Discogs, it's in Cyrillic. Hero of the Speedway is the name of the album. That's how I had to look it up. You'll find out what that is called. But look, it doesn't help you anyway. All of this is in Russian, and it's classic USSR Russian. I mean, look at this guy. He's doing these best stripes there. Didn't know what I was going to get. Look at this. Looks like some kind of jazz drummer or something. Did not know what I was going to get when I put this on in the shop. And it was just straight up heavy metal. Heavy metal. That's exactly what I got. It was pretty fast. I skipped around some tracks. Had a lot of power to it. Grit in the guitars. It just sounded lots of fun. And the price for this was very right. So, yeah, I don't know what the band's called. Don't know how to say it in English, but the album's Hero of the Speedway. I think it was from, did it have a year? 87. And so, yeah, it's definitely still USSR, which is neat. Need to re-sleeve it in something new. Nothing exciting here, just old. And there's the font. No idea. Absolutely no idea what it says. Anyway. Very cool. Gonna dig into that one. I don't know anything about them. If you know anything about this band, you've got a phonetic way for me to pronounce it. Yeah, let me know. So that's that's these Russians. Very cool. And the last one, I did push the boat out a little bit on this one, but you heard it in the shop. Awesome. ADX Execution, French heavy metal, a little bit of speed metal, but mainly again it's just pretty rough French heavy metal. Good clean vocals. 1985 this one came out. Holy shit, didn't even realise that. This thing's been signed apparently. I'm not sure the guy in the shop recognised that, but anyway, it's been signed by Phil and Duke and Beton. Have all signed it. It's Marquis and Dog. The drummer's called Dog. They didn't sign it. Oh well. Anyway, so yeah, ADX Execution. Very cool. I don't know much about ADX, but this was there and I listened to it in the shop as you saw, and yeah, it sold me. And the thing about that shop is nothing lasts long. So things like this will get snapped up. I wasn't going to let it get snapped up. I was in a buying mood. There you go, Devil's Records, and it's all in French, so I have no idea what's going on. Sung in French. Nicely kept lyric sheet. And another one I've got to get into a new sleeve. Little bit scuffed, but that's alright. Most of these came from one guy's collection and beginning dripped out into the shop over the last couple of years, and I think we're pretty much at the end of that. I went through those boxes as you saw, which is very cool. I've known the shop owner. I got to know him for a while now. Let me go through the final parts, and I think we're pretty much done with what I can find in that shop for now. That's alright. they get new stock in, and they'll buy new collections, I'm sure. ADX Execution. That's what I picked up on the records. And the CDs, nothing too exciting. I did pick up the Covenant Nexus Polaris because it just took me right back. I got this when I was doing my final year of high school, and in Australian high school, there's I think it was 2 or 3 weeks. The year 12, the final year, we finish earlier than the rest of the school. We're meant to use that time to study. I spent that time listening to this record, this CD. I didn't stop listening to it. I kind of wore it out. That's why I ended up getting rid of it. But, you know, it's been 23 years now, so I'm going to go back and listen to this one again. Covenant Nexus Polaris. You know, it's camp as a row of tents, but whatever. Good fun. I would like to get their first album. I did have that a long time ago. The original Time Before the Light first press, but I don't know, I must have traded it. I picked up Pod People, Doom Saloon. Pod People are sort of half of Blood Duster. They did this album in 90-something, 99, 2002, okay. I'd seen them live a couple of times because they were at Metal for the Brain a couple of times, and the best way to describe them is you get the non-grindy parts of Blood Duster, like that sort of half of Straight Outta Northcote. That's Pod People. It's just sort of more stoner, more doom, no grind. The vocals sometimes get that sort of Kaya sound, but also they get quite I don't know, it's processed or whatever, but it's like a death rock zombie kind of thing. I don't know. It's pretty cool. Good fun. I enjoyed it. Pod People, Doom Saloon. I found this one. It was like $5 or something, so I was very happy with that. And I also got Impetigo, or is it Impetigo? Never sure. Ultimo. It is Ultimo. Mondo Cannibal. I think this is the first album. I've had Horror of the Zombies for 25 years at this point, but I didn't have this album, and this was the reissue from Razorback Records. It's got the Faceless EP on it as well, and a couple of live tracks. This was very cheap. This was $5, $6 or something. So yeah, and I've been listening to this one since I got it, and very happy. It's even more so than Horror of the Zombies. It's more just straight up dirty grind. It's less gore grind. I don't think we got to that point yet when this thing came out. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. So the vocals sound like From Enslavement to Obliteration for half the time. It's just sort of deep but barked. Lots of fun. Got some horror samples that Mortician would go on and do, and they're fun too. So yeah, very cool. And there is one more. Put it in the wrong spot. I picked up. Very happy to get this one back. Only a handful of Australians that might be watching this would know this EP. Automation, My Gutter Child. I had this in the way back when. Must have traded it as well. And it shot up in price. This thing's now sitting on Discogs for $170, which is not what I'm going to pay for a 5-track EP. Sydney band. Had a lot of members that went on to do so many other Sydney metal bands, death metal, power metal, black metal bands as well. But this was their one and only 5-track EP of sort of groovy death metal. It's that late 90s sound when death metal was on the way out a little bit before we started to get a bit of a rebirth. A lot of groove in these bands. Very processed sound. But geez, I got a soft spot for it. I was so glad to get it back. The tracks are pretty catchy. And I ended up paying $9 whole for it, which, as I said, the Discogs going price for this is a lot more than that. So yeah, My Gutter Child from Automation. Good fun Sydney death metal. And yeah, that's what I picked up on today, and one thing that came in the post. And yeah, there you go. That's my haul. Hope you enjoyed watching the record hunt, and thanks for watching.